To all those people out there that say TV only rots the brain, I beg to differ. Or I mostly differ, because when it comes to reality television, I truly fail to see the value. But I guess we all must have our guilty pleasures. Hi, I'm Antoinette Bone, estate planning, probate, guardianship, and elder law attorney in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And today we are going to talk about two estate planning issues that came up in Grey's Anatomy. Now, I haven't watched Grey's Anatomy in years. So when I was watching it years ago, I used to watch it pretty religiously. And there were a couple of episodes that involved estate planning issues. Now, the first incident was when the totally delectable Dr. Mark Sloan was in the plane crash, which left him in a coma. He had a healthcare directive, and here in Texas we call that a directive to physicians and family or surrogates. His directive stated that after 30 days, if he had not come out of his coma, he wanted all life-prolonging procedures to cease. So his dutiful friends honored his wishes and let him go. The decision about discontinuing treatment might have been an easy one for a doctor to have made, even a TV doctor, because his medical training allows him an understanding of treatment outcomes and a better understanding of what kinds of treatment would be possible or not. For us non-doctor types who don't have that type of training, the decision about discontinuing treatment or not is a little more challenging to make. Now, I always recommend that my clients talk to their doctor about this matter. While there is a statutory form, you can make some additions to it. And I provide additional language for my clients. It helps them to have a discussion with their doctor and usually brings up issues that they had not considered. The second time an estate planning issue came up on Grey's Anatomy, it involved Dr. Meredith Grey. She had just been told that she had the gene for Alzheimer's. Now, she has a toddler at home and is pregnant, so she is a worried mom. She saw how her mother having Alzheimer's impacted her life and career. The disease also impacted the relationship that Meredith had with her mother in a negative way. So she tells her husband, Dr. Derek Shepard, the brain surgeon, that they need to get their wills redone. And honestly, as wealthy physicians, I can't believe that they didn't have any asset protection planning done already. They both had survived a plane crash where Meredith lost her half-sister, who was named as the guardian of their toddler. Derek thinks it's not a pressing issue, but Meredith insists on getting some planning in place. Now, this dynamic is so true to life. Usually one spouse sees the need for planning, but the other spouse may drag their feet. Now, Derek is a smart guy. After all, he is a brain surgeon and has a well-developed understanding of the rule, happy wife, happy life. So he quickly gets on board with getting the planning done and calls the lawyer. Now, a little later, they have a discussion about who will be named the new guardian of their toddler and the expected newborn. For Meredith, it's a no-brainer. It's her right-hand man, her confidant, her best friend, Dr. Christina Yang. Derek, on the other hand, is not so sure Christina is well suited for the job or will even want to do it. He tells Meredith to talk to her about it. She does, and much to her dismay, she discovers that Christina will not raise her kids the way she would want. Christina's plan is to hire nannies and let them do all the real work of parenting. Christina really just wants to be the fun aunt that kids visit 3 weeks a year who totally ruins them and tells them things their parents don't want them to know, at least not yet, and lets them eat all kinds of things their parents will not let them have at home, just like grandparents. There are no hard feelings, but now Meredith is in a bit of a pickle. She goes back to Derek and tells him he was right about Christina. Now she has to consider Derek's sisters as options. For some reason, Meredith doesn't feel close to them, and neither one was her first choice, but she recognizes they would be good parents in the way she would want. If you haven't already done so, watch my video, Love Letter to Single Parents, which more directly addresses this particular issue. Finally, in a run-in with each other at a nurse's station, Derek tells Meredith the lawyer said they've never done any healthcare directives. Now, one would think that doctors of all people would have a healthcare directive in place. But at this point, that is neither here nor there. Now, apparently these two didn't have any in place. But Meredith stated that it's obvious what she wants, not to be a potato. And that at the first sign of forgetfulness, she wants to be given a lethal dose of morphine so her children don't have to experience what she did with her mother. Meredith is seemingly unaware of how what she has just said disturbed Derek. His response is that they'll cross that bridge when they get to it. But later on, he tells her that the decision to end her life is something he would hope they would make together. So what lessons can we learn from Grey's Anatomy? 1. Well, unlike most Americans, these doctors had some planning in place. So if you haven't done any planning, now is always a good time to act. Significant life events are usually the time when people think about it and actually get it done. Second lesson, like most Americans who have planning, Derek and Meredith hadn't changed theirs, even though there were things that had changed in their lives and that impacted their estate planning. So make sure you review any current planning at least every 3 years to see if it needs any updates and to make sure it still reflects your wishes. Estate planning is not a transaction, but a process that requires you remain engaged. Lesson 3. When selecting people to fill important roles in your plan, make sure you talk to them about it first to find out if they want the responsibility and if they are willing to serve in the role. When it comes to appointing guardians, make sure their parenting style is something you want your children to experience. And number 4. As a TV doctor, Mark Sloan clearly had thought about what he wanted to have happen in the event he was comatose. Besides getting a directive to physicians drawn up, sit down with your family and talk to them about what you want so they understand and will be willing to abide by your decision without a fight. Now, Meredith clearly had a very different view of how the decision to end her life would impact her family, particularly in this case where she was requesting that her doctor husband give her a lethal dose of morphine to end her life. As a doctor, he might be able to fulfill that request for a stranger, but as a husband, he might have a really difficult time doing that. The bottom line is, talk to your family about your wishes. Unless there are some very compelling reasons to do so, estate planning is not something that should be kept a secret. I'm Antoinette Bone, estate planning, probate, guardianship, and elder law attorney in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. If you found this content useful or entertaining and would like to see more like it, please subscribe to my page, like this video, and don't forget to tell your family and friends. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.